and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And today is all about free agency. Yesterday, Wednesday, was the official start of free agency, and we, the Panthers, made some moves, Jerry. Made a lot of moves.
Made a lot of moves. Some good. Some
good.
I don't think are very good.
And some
we'll see.
Some sad. Some guys that unfortunately had to leave the team that we really like. But we'll get into those a little later. Let's start with the positive. Let's start with some of the signings that we're really excited about.
Yeah, starting off, outside linebacker Hasan Reddick was signed to a 1-year, $8 million deal. He was drafted 13th overall in 2017 by Arizona Cardinals. Surprise, surprise, he went to Temple.
What?
I love this signing.
Yeah.
This
is a good one.
I think pairing him with Brian Burns is going to be a very, very good idea. They play very similar roles as kind of that tweener linebacker defensive end. Reddick had a very slow start to his career. The first 3 seasons, he only racked up 7.5 sacks, but last year, 12.5, 6 forced fumbles. I mean, that's beastly.
Yeah, it's really good. Here's what I like the most about this deal is it's cheap. Yeah. And if you get that kind of production, or even 75% of that production from him next year, it's a bargain. My concerns with Reddick are, he had 12.5 sacks last year, but 5 of those came in one game.
Yeah.
So and if you look at the rest of his career, 7 total sacks for the first 3 years of his career. So was he a one-hit wonder? Honestly, it doesn't matter, because this is a great deal for the Panthers. This is a team-friendly deal. You're getting him with an offensive or a defensive line that's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of talent around him at linebacker now. We'll get to that in a few minutes. I think he's coming into a position where if he has the will, because he has the talent, if he has the will, then he will succeed.
Yeah. And again, I think 1 year, $8 million. It's nothing. If he doesn't pan out, he doesn't pan out. We get just move on.
And it's only $6 million guaranteed. So he has to hit some incentives to get the full 8.
Okay, I didn't know that they came out with the guaranteed when I did this. They didn't have the guaranteed yet. Absolutely, this is the type of signing I really like. It's kind of a prove it deal for Reddick. But he has splash potential. He could come out and have another 12 sack season. Pair him with Brian Burns, who could have a 12 sack season. Look, all of a sudden our defensive line is scary.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a great deal for the Panthers, and he's still young. So if he does hit, and that cap goes up next year, and we've seen the numbers for the cap for the Panthers next year, looks pretty good. Yeah, you could sign him to a longer term deal. So I like it in all ways. There's no downside to this deal for me at all.
All right, now we're gonna give each one of these signings a grade. What would you grade this one?
This is an A for me, just a solid A. I mean, like I said, there's no downside to it. The potential is through the roof, and it's an inexpensive deal. So I don't see how you could give anything less than an A.
Yeah, I give it an A too. Now, if we signed him for like 4 years, then that would have been a different type of grade because there is risk with him. But I think this is a perfect deal for him and for the Panthers organization.
Yep, 100%.
Moving on. Now, the first day of tampering had 2 signings. The first one, well, it wasn't the first one, but one of them, the offensive tackle Cameron Erving, signed a 2-year, $10 million contract with $8 million guaranteed. He was originally drafted in the first round by the Cleveland Browns in 2015. He then went to Kansas City and Dallas last year, kind of playing that guard, left tackle, kind of multiple positions. I don't know if I really like this one. I feel like that's a lot of guaranteed money in a 2-year deal for someone who, maybe a backup. I mean, just doesn't really seem all that great.
Yeah. Again, to me, it's not a lot of money. I mean, it's less than $5 million a year guaranteed. So, and we do need offensive line depth. So it's not that bad of a deal to me. I'm not excited about the player exactly, but he is a former first round pick and he's got experience. He's a veteran. So bringing him in to compete at a position of desperate need for the Panthers, left tackle. I'm not exactly excited about bringing in somebody that, has a grade in the 50s on PFF to start at left tackle, but his pass blocking grade was okay. And, we need depth at that position. So I don't hate this one. I don't love it. I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either, just because of those reasons that you say. I think the thing that really irked me about this one, this is the first day of tampering. This is a guy you can grab a week after free agency starts and probably get him cheaper, in my opinion. I feel like they jumped the gun on some backup quality players on the first day of tampering. All right, so what would you give this offensive tackle Cameron Erving grade?
I mean, I'm going to give it like a C minus, something like that. I mean, it's, again, I don't hate it. I'm not excited about it.
I think
it's not a lot of money.
I'm going D plus because of the simple fact that I feel like they didn't need to jump up and grab him so quickly.
I can understand that. But if he's better than average, then it's a great deal.
Absolutely.
And it's a steal at the cost. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, at the time I wasn't thrilled about Zach Kerr, and now I'm upset that we got rid of him. So
right.
Things change. We're fans. We're not,
Yeah.
Now, they signed another person on the limited tampering period the first day. This was actually the first one that was released. Guard Pat Elflein signed a 3-year, $13.5 million with $6 million guaranteed. He was a third-round pick by the Minnesota Vikings, was released in 2020, and picked up off waivers by the New York Jets, who played last year. And some reason the Panthers signed him to this deal. This is one I'm just flabbergasted with.
This one on paper looks worse.
Absolutely.
It's less money. It's less money per year, but the player seems worse.
Absolutely worse. Just going on, his pressure rate by season was 2017 was 4.5% of his snaps. He gave up pressure. 2018, 6.2. 2019, 7.2. 2020, 10%. That means for every 10 downs he played, he gave up one pressure to the opposing player.
That's some quick math there, Jerry.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the trend that you want to see, right? That's going backwards, it seems like. Again, this could be a guy that benefits from a change of scenery, comes in with a new coaching staff,
but he had that last year too.
Turn around for him, but yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you when you say, why are these the two guys that the Panthers signed first? Because
I mean, I read somewhere he has one of the worst PFF pass blocking of all time in a season.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a guard too. You're not a tackle going against like the premier guys.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's like a little over $4 million a year. So not paying a lot of money for him, but he's just not a good player. So I don't really know why you would. And I'm kind of laughing at your main concern is, or your main detraction with these signings is that they happen so early, right?
They happen these are the guys early. And
these are the guys that they were targeting. Like, why are these the guys that they were targeting?
Exactly. I also don't like 3 years, $13.5 million for this guy who has done nothing really in his career and has gotten worse.
Do you know how it breaks down? Have you looked at the actual contract? Because I'm just curious if it's like, after the first year he can be cut with like $3 million dead cap or something. I mean, I'm curious as to what the final numbers are going to look like.
I
And
don't
maybe they're
know.
not available yet. Yeah.
But either way, I mean, that's more dead cap. I don't know what this organization has decided to do with dead cap, but they absolutely love it.
Well, a lot of that was Hurney, so we don't know about Fitterer, what that's going to look like yet. But what do you got on a grade on this one? I'm going to guess that you're pretty low.
I am actually giving this one an F.
Yeah.
If you signed him A later, or just if you signed him to a 1 year like veteran minimum or a little above that, I'm fine with this pick or this signing. But 13 and a half over 3 years, that's 4 million a year.
Yeah.
14 and a half. I don't know if
Yeah.
he's worth that.
I'm going to go. I'm just going to go C- again because, again, it's not a lot of money. It's a position of need. It's just, I'm not going to kill them for going after somebody. If they've done the research and this is the guy they like, then maybe he's been miscast or not given the right opportunities, been shuffled around an offensive line. I don't know what his past is, unfortunately. So I'm not going to give any Fs here for free agency when it's such a short deal that is relatively inexpensive. So yeah, I'll give a C-. Again, I'm not excited about it. This is not a player that if I was looking at a list of players and I saw these stats that you rolled out, it's not a person I would even want on the team at any cost.
Yeah.
But again, I'm going to defer to Fitterer and Rule and figure that they know what they're doing. So, but let's get to some guys that we are excited about, Jerry.
Yes.
Interior linebacker Denzel Perryman signed a 2-year deal. Details aren't out yet as far as how much money, but looking at the rest of these deals, I'm going to assume it's not a lot of money. But this is a guy that, when healthy, is awesome. I watched some of his highlights last night, and he's fast. He is smart. He's, that typical sideline to sideline linebacker that you love to see. He just hasn't played 16 games in a season yet. So the last couple of years he's played 14 and 13. So that's manageable, right? You'd like to see more, but if you're getting 13 games out of a player, that's kind of typical, these days. So doesn't put up a ton of tackle numbers. I think his high was 73. That was his very first year. But again, he had 51 in 9 games in 2018. So that, that's on pace for close to 100 tackles. But he's just a really smart player, and he makes a lot of things happen. So I'm very excited about this one. He's a massive upgrade over Tahir Whitehead.
Absolutely. He is a great run stuffing linebacker, which Tahir Whitehead was supposed to be, but obviously was not. Our run defense was pretty putrid because of the linebacking core last year. Shaq is more of a, pass defensive coverage guy. And Jeremy Chin was, he was in the backfield. Same thing, pass coverage.
Mm-hmm.
I really love this signing. Like you said, fingers crossed he stays healthy. That is why he is signed for only a 2-year deal. That's kind of a prove it, stay healthy, make it. But if he is healthy, this guy is going to be a nice addition to this team.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting him with Shaq, who, we saw how good Shaq was with Kuechly, but beside him on the linebacker team. So having another really talented linebacker alongside him is only going to elevate Shaq. And then you've got Jermaine Carter, who played very well last year.
Mm-hmm.
That we both liked him a lot towards the end of the season. So, he'll be out there as well. PFF grade is 83.3 overall for him, 86 in run defense, 75 in pass, rush and coverage. So it seems like he does everything well, and he's elite run defender. So yeah, I couldn't be more excited about this one. And I'm just going to go ahead. I don't know what the money is, so that gives me a little caution. But I'm still going to go A as grade on this one because I like the player.
I 100% agree. And 2-year deal, like you said, we don't know the money yet, but I'm assuming as long as it's not astronomical, A. Like you said, this is the type of player you want to bring onto your team if he could stay healthy. 2-year deals, it's not long term. I love this signing. Hey.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the last signing that we have so far. And this one happened later yesterday. This is defensive end Morgan Fox signed a 2-year deal, $7 million guaranteed, total of about $8 million. This guy, he came to the NFL as an undrafted free agent, been with the Rams for the last 4 years, and solid player. Again, this is a deal that is not expensive. Had 6 sacks last year, so only 4.5 for his entire career before that. But I like this. I like this one.
Yeah, I do too. At first, I kind of was
right. He's good depth.
Yeah, he's good depth. At first, I was kind of lackluster about it, but the more I looked at him, coming undrafted in 2016, every year he improved. I think in last year he had 6 sacks, 1 forced fumble. I like it. 2 years, 8.1, $7 million guarantee. That they're loving to throw those guarantees out, but I think this is good depth, and it's a guy who's on the rise. He's still under 30 years old, undrafted, so he's getting work now.
Yeah. And I don't so much mind the guarantee. I'm sure there's a cap reason that they're doing that. This is just adding depth. It's funny to me that the best signings so far have been on the defense. And then last year in the draft, it was all defense. I mean, there's obviously, they're extremely concerned about this defense as a coaching staff. So they're putting a lot of resources into rebuilding this defense. And I hope it all works out because, on paper, we're young and talented. So,
and last year, towards
what kind
the
of
end
grade
of
are you going to get? Good.
Towards the end of the last year, you could tell that defense was starting to take shape a little bit more, and hopefully that'll continue. These signings are kind of adding pieces, that can grow with the team. So I like the way they're kind of molding the defense. Yeah. Fingers crossed on the offense.
Right. Grade wise, I'll give this one a B. Yeah, not super. Same for you.
Yep, I think he's good depth. 2 years, let him continue to grow, see if he can become something, especially rotationally with, Etor and the rest of those defensive linemen.